Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining the Behind Company Lines podcast. Today we have Antoine Castel, co-founder of MetaEngine. MetaEngine is enabling the metaverse, providing GameFi devs with the tools to build the next metaverse with more efficient, cheaper, and unified technology. Antoine, I'm so excited to chat with you, especially because I think people who aren't within the gaming industry, I feel like there's two different camps, maybe some people in the middle who know a lot about kind of where gaming is going and the evolution and how it's really coming down to the gamers and their skill set to develop them less kind of centralized in the big gaming companies. But it's exciting not only about what kind of creativity is going to come about of it, but also the technology that's going to be incorporated in it that is kind of intertwined in other technologies as well. But before we get into all that good stuff, I know you spent some time in investment banking and then you obviously finance and crypto and then now in the gaming world. In your past experience, how much time did you spend on your job and how much time did you spend gaming? What kind of hours per days were you clocking in?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Julian.
Sure.
That's an honor. Well, when I was working in investment banking, for sure, not a lot of time gaming. You clock in many hours from Monday to Sunday. I was living in Japan for my first proper job experience, working for a big French bank. So yeah, when I was there, I treated myself for Christmas and bought a PS3. But everything was in Japanese, so it was a bit of a bummer.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but I started with Super NES and then evolved more into PC gaming over the course of the past few years. So I try to keep active on gaming. But to be honest, I was lucky enough to get a PS5 before Christmas, and I played less than an hour. So that's not good. Yeah, but I still play actively Counter-Strike, PUBG kind of stuff to switch off at the end of the day, a very long days.
Yeah. And for people who don't know, what's the difference between console gaming and PC gaming? What are the limitations to both? And also, what are the benefits to both?
Yeah, so I'd say a console gaming is more fair to the players, especially when it's competitive, but also more accessible. You have less buttons to press. It's less challenging. Everybody has the same hardware. The only difference is your TV, but the controller is always the same. So I think most initially better games were made for console because you had a bigger audience, and kind of over time, PC, what we call PC master race, took over, and the numbers on console is still huge because you have all the kids.
Yeah.
When you ask your parents to buy a very expensive computer that will be outdated in 5 years, even in 2. That's a bit silly. And you can get a very powerful computer for today for $500. You can get a PS5. It's a supercomputer, and it won't be outdated in 5 years when they change technology and we get a new one. Every game will still be working fine on it. Every new release will be working fine on it, even in 5 years, because they keep optimizing. So that's maybe a sounder investment with a PC. So yeah, I think it's more accessible. But PC is more for professional. I think more for professionals when you build skills and then you have a lot more experiences. It is also a bit more expensive to develop for console because you have to have a developer kit specific for the PlayStation, whatever platform Nintendo is having or is going to have.
Yeah.
So it's really a bit more expensive, but also bigger audience and easier to access because that's one machine. You have people, you can access them more efficiently. You have just one publisher in there. So it's a lot easier.
Yeah. And how large is the gaming community today? I think a lot of people underestimate how many people are gaming, and even to a small degree, but also those who are more seriously doing it for sport. It's pretty large.
I think the numbers is around 2 billion people around the world that are actively gaming.
Wow.
Mobile has brought up so many people. If you look at Southeast Asia and Asia in general, where the local buying power does not allow you to buy the $1,000 PC or $500 PS5. You can always get a crappy Android phone.
Smartphone.
Smartphone where you can still play good amount of stuff. Not necessarily PUBG Mobile or Here's a Cat. Not necessarily PUBG Mobile, but many games and get a taste of it a little bit. And with a ton of emulators available on Android, that's super useful. That's super cool. So I think it brought a huge amount of people that are discovering gaming with that.
Yeah. For the metaverse, is it focusing on the different, I would say, platforms that are used for gaming, say mobile, console, PC, or is it more hyper-focused in one particular area? And why is that?
I think number one question would be to ask, what is the metaverse, right?
Yeah.
Is it just NFTs associated with a game, or is it a game associated with a movie that is kind of enhancing the experience and taking it to some other places, plus a website, plus a VR experience, plus an attraction in Disneyland, whatever. Is this metaverse? Is this so? Our definition of metaverse is a network of infinite amount of different experiences, games, 3D experiences that are happening in 3D virtual environments that are all interconnected. If they are not interconnected, it's not metaverse, it's multiverse, and it's segregated between all those verses. So our motto is trying to connect, bring interoperability between those worlds. So, and between platforms and between games, between people and between all those different experiences that you should be able to access once you switch on your device, whatever it is. If it is VR, if it is a PC, if it is a console, you should be able to jump from one to the other regardless.
Yeah. And right now, or I guess in the recent past, how advanced has the ability for people and gamers to actually develop their own games, and how has it improved in the recent years that is going to create a huge influence impact into the metaverse kind of whole push for a fully immersed gaming experience?
Yeah, the idea of a metaverse also is that it's not going to be built by one company, right?
Yeah,
it's not the dystopia of a Ready Player One or a Free Guy, those two movies that are kind of dystopian. It should not be that. And also, it's a huge amount of content to build. Cannot be built by one company. Like Instagram is not bringing anything. People who are contributing to build that thing. So it should be made easier to build those multiple experiences. So you have many attempts at building sandboxes that allow people to create kind of no code approach. Roblox allows you to build with code as well with their engine, which is cool. It's still limited, technically limited, because it's not a full-blown game engine. It's fairly limited what you have access to, but it's still super cool. Minecraft was huge success. It's the number one game played in the world before Tetris. So it's huge following built by one guy. And that just gave the tool to everybody. Okay, go play with it. Then took over by Microsoft, but still, one guy gave the tools to everybody. Okay, play with it. And we are, I don't know how many years after the release. So you see those experiences, those games that have purpose or no purpose, really. Minecraft didn't have any purpose, that there was no story at the beginning. Try to enable people to build their own stuff and assemble some small pieces, create their own world, their own version of a world, a copy of the world, whatever. And that's really super cool to see that empowerment given to also younger generations who are getting a taste of what it takes to make a game. And it's super hard. I can tell you that. It's not easy. That's why it's expensive. That's why so many games fail even before being finished. So it's empowering younger generations with tools that are accessible, that are interesting, that are collaborative, that bring their creativity forward is great. And that's also a super cool career path that you need to explore. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
When I can tell you that, sorry to interrupt, but when I was young, I can tell you that my parents were really not interested in me pursuing a career in games. Fuck no. Sorry for cursing.
Yeah.
No way. Today, well, what is the future? Is this going to be in those social experiences? And that has to be built by game developers.
Yeah, 100%. And it's crazy because gaming gets to a lot of root of things that we enjoy, not only challenge and kind of figuring out critical thinking skills, going through different quests and things like that. And also kind of a reaction and very visceral, humanistic emotions and feelings of winning and cooperation and collaboration. It kind of takes it into a virtual outside of doing it physically, which I think enhances the experience a lot. How does crypto and how does blockchain technology, you mentioned one scenario where blockchain is involved is with NFTs, and another one where it's kind of critical to the infrastructure of the game. Where does technology in terms of blockchain, how is it involved with new game development, and what are some ways that it'll give kind of new access and new features to gaming that we haven't seen before? Or is it just going to kind of recreate the old stuff with new technology?
So the obvious first answer would be whatever has been done so far with blockchain technology. So basically, when you look at the game, you have the design, story, economy, mechanics. So economy is not necessarily, it's not necessary, because if it's a solo game, who cares about the economy, right? But the innovative design, blockchain does not have much to do with it. Maybe with owning the design, if you build collaboratively, how do you track ownership of it? MetaEngine, we're building some tools to be able to track ownership. That's pretty interesting. Telling stories. Well, how do you tell stories? Who is telling the story? Whose story is it? So if it is collaborative, if it is massive amount of different experiences, well, my story, I should be able to own it. I should be able to make money out of that, or at least claim it is mine, or sell it to somebody else, or assemble it with somebody else's story. Economy is kind of obvious. Crypto was and Bitcoin was kind of created to answer the financial crisis of 2008 and kind of a counterpower, store of value. But, and then the mechanics. Can you add mechanics based on blockchain? That would be super cool. That's really interesting. But the idea is really, I think the core should be ownership. Because if you are building that many experiences, ownership is key. So there's that urban legend that says Vitalik created Ethereum because he got the nerf hammer on one of his items. Yeah. Wow. And he was super pissed. How come somebody can say my stuff is not worth anything today? Well, sorry, that's what a game developer can do. But if you own this, if you own that item and it holds value forever, it should be understood and acknowledged by the consensus and not by just. So it's also a different way of making games. If you look at how many games are made on console, compare it to how many games are made on phones. It's a different universe. Making games on phones is super fast. You can make one within a week. It will look bad, will be terrible, but the mechanics you can try. You can A/B test some stuff. Yeah. I think we are looking at a new way. We are trying to look at metaverses, I think, going that way, trying to look at new ways of making games, iterating, because making one AAA game costs hundreds of millions of dollars. And you're served the same story or different story, but same packaging, same thing, same license all over time. There's not a lot of innovation. And if you are able to gather a team, assemble a team, split the ownership at the beginning and work on it and collaboratively build your own experiences, sell those experiences or give access for free to people, that's great. And you can then, if you have collaboration, can experience with your peers, with other gamers that are excited about what you build, experience and test. And instead of releasing your game, one game every 3 years, you release it once every year or once every 6 months. And you just focus on building cool mechanics, building cool design. You have another way of monetizing your game, and it can become super interesting and super creative. There's no such thing. The mobile gaming creativity is incredibly out of reach for PC gaming creativity. PC gaming is focusing on longer games, bigger games, same with console, that tell stories that are super good looking, immersive, etc., but cost crazy amount of money to make and are very super hard to, if you don't have a big audience, if you don't have big money to back that up with crazy marketing, you will fail and you will lose money.
Yeah. And to backtrack into you as a founder yourself, and you were in investment banking and then you've always kind of been in the gaming world. When did you first get introduced to crypto? And then when did you have the idea or see that there was just this growing push for influencing or having the technology now kind of integrated into gaming and this whole universe and 2 billion people actively gaming? I'm sure there's probably more who are less consistent with it, but there's a huge market of individuals here who are actively testing technologies and are very curious. It's like your perfect customer base because they always want new things. They want to break it. They want to tell you why it's broken, but they want to improve it overall, right? So what in particular got you excited about crypto and saw the push? What was the inspiration?
So I started working in the investment banking in 2007. I was introduced to the technology we currently use, Hero Engine, that we are moving to new heights with crypto and with other. Back in 2011 with my co-founder Alex, and then I started working with him. because that engine is used by EA on Star Wars: The Old Republic, ZeniMax on Elder Scrolls Online. So MMORPG. So it's an engine to make MMORPG. I was introduced to that, and the key component is collaborative. It's a collaborative engine. You can build with hundreds of people in the same engine. So then comes financial crisis, and I stick to banking. So that was just before I met Alex. Stick to banking, going to private banking, still make good money even with the crisis. And comes 2007. Talk about Bitcoin. Some friends of mine who are engineers talk about that with me. Oh, this will solve everything. Yeah. Good luck with that. We will take over banks. Yeah. Thank you. Good luck with that. I was still counting in billions in investment banking.
Yeah.
So no, with your little thing, fine. So then you get into the logic of that, and you get into the functionalities, and then you become a Bitcoin maximalist even before Ethereum is around. So you buy a few, and then you sell them because it reached like $300, and it's fine. It's cool.
Yeah.
But then being a financial engineer, sticking around in the world of crypto, you get approached by projects who want your help on building financial models and token models, etc. That make sense, make proper sense, that are not scams, that have a good logic. So then you build those models, you get to know super good projects, some good, some bad, but you get to work, you get into the details of how it works, how that tokenization of the economy works. And comes 2017, 18, and you start to have projects that are into gaming, Decentraland, Sandbox, and others that try to have an approach to decentralized gaming and decentralized ownership. Centralized gaming is not a thing. It's not possible technically. You won't have decentralized servers hosting your game session. Don't dream about it. It's years in the future. That's because of hardware. But decentralized ownership of experiences that you build, etc. So and decentralized funding of games. 3% of all games game developments that start finish. 3%.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
So and that's not successful games. That games that successfully finish development. 3%. Okay. So it is crazy hard to make those games, and crazy hard to get funding. And you look at ICOs, you look at those token models, and man, wouldn't that be a great model to fund games? We always had that in mind with our engine to attract people and get them together and collaboratively build stuff and maybe fund that.
Yeah.
We have Kickstarter was super good, and other platforms were great. Crowdfunding was great, and ICOs are the new crowdfunding. It's a decentralized economy. There's a lot of money that is invested in those projects. So then we looked at our engine and said, okay, how can we help? How can we help this? How can we help these guys achieve what they are trying to achieve? We can bring massive multiplayer capacities. We can bring in collaborative capacity, and we can integrate in that engine blockchain technology. Unreal will not do it. Epic Games will not do that. Unity either. They're either owned by super big corporations or publicly listed. Don't dream about it. They will integrate blockchain tomorrow. So we can do that. So we can bring proper decentralized economy. We can offer ownership. We can offer trustability. We can offer interoperability between games based on blockchain technology. That's super cool. Let's do it. So at the end of 2021, we started our funding round that ended about a year ago, and then we started assembling the team that would take that engine that has been worked on by crazy cool engineers for 20 years to the next level, adding blockchain technology, improving that engine, etc. So that's the story behind it. So it's really to serve game developers and gamers, to give them more. I'm an avid gamer. I don't make games. I play a ton of games. I try to play everything. When I have time, I try to play everything. I have a great collection on Steam that because I buy everything when it's on sale, and don't play everything, but at least I don't finish everything. But I try to play a lot of stuff, and I'm interested in new concepts, new mechanics, new designs. That's what I want to see. So we are trying to serve that. Actually, trying to serve me as a gamer. I just want more stuff. More stuff. If you can make a buck or two by playing it and being rewarded with tokens or with a different way to serve the economy of the gaming industry. Great bonus. If I can own what I have and I can use it in different games, holy shit, super cool. So that's what we're trying to serve. We're trying to serve the game developer to help them make game faster, cheaper, and collaboratively, and also the gamer. More games, please.
Yeah. It's incredible to hear about the collaboration piece. And yeah, you're right. There's been so many crowd crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, crowd development. And it really is the collaboration of people in masses that really helps push a lot of these things forward, whether you think about open source programming and with the benefit of that, especially with Chrome. So tell us a little bit about the traction. How many people are actively developing? How many people are playing with the games that are being built on the MetaEngine? Where are things now, and what's exciting about this year and the traction that you've been taking from last year?
So what we are currently doing, we are improving the engine rendering piece. So we are taking it to today's standards, because we'll always be lagging behind Unreal, obviously, because they are Unreal and they do photorealistic stuff. But what we are doing while we invest in this, and it's a long road because it's a super complex piece of technology. We also invest a lot in bringing the collaborativity to the game developer. So we have that within our game engine possibility to collaborate. We have about 850 projects under development on the engine.
Yeah.
We are trying to bring collaborativity to also content creators, artists. If you want to assemble a team, so we're building something that we call MetaXP. It's a platform where you will be able to connect with people who have the same interest, who want to make a game. You want to connect with an artist. You don't have an artist. You have just the idea of a game. I need an artist. I need a game designer. I need a level designer. I need this. I need that. It's a platform to connect and to build and to achieve more. I just want more games, honestly, just for my own pleasure, playing more games. And that platform is allowing people to connect and to build together. So that is going to be released this year, and along with upgrades on the engine, also an IP tracking system that we are testing currently. And a ton of other projects. I don't want to talk about everything, but because there are so many projects. But basically, just so you know, we are just trying to serve game developer community, the content creator community, trying to give them ownership of what they do and help them find not clients, but people to collaborate with on cool projects.
Yeah.
But most important, the gamers. They want interesting games. I don't know if you've played with many crypto games. They're not good. They're not interesting. They're bland. I'm sorry. There's just the economy there. So you can make money. Great. I'm not gonna spend time to try to make $50 a week. It is interesting to a big part of the world population that is for whom it is interesting. It is a way of living. It is not to me, and the game are just not that interesting. So we want more interesting games, more interesting mechanics, interesting stories, and interesting content. That's what we're trying to that's what we're trying to help be made, and gather the communities of game developers and content creators, and just as a globally game enthusiasts and metaverse enthusiasts to try to build collaboratively.
What are some of the biggest challenges that the MetaEngine faces today?
The biggest challenges, well, there are so many misconceptions about metaverse. So we try not to talk about too much about metaverse because it gets confusing. And we try to talk about multitude of experiences and to make a point, because what we really want is more games, more things that are connected to each other.
Yeah.
And it has to start at some point. Because I'm not going to trust Meta with my data. I'm not going to play that. You have a look at the demo. Come on, thank you, but no thanks. I don't want VR. It's not ready yet. I have a thousands of dollars invested in my PC. I don't have a VR headset. That's not for me, but I want experiences. So really it's trying to get to a point where we have enough collaboration happening. So more games come out of that. That attracts funding, that attracts investors, that attracts another crowd, another community. So we are building that community currently. We're trying to educate people based on our knowledge of the gaming industry, our knowledge of how games are being made, how engines are supposed to be made. Try to also get into trying to solve the interoperability problem between games. Because if you don't have that, then you don't have a metaverse. If you cannot jump from Decentraland to Sandbox, this is not a metaverse. You should be able to jump seamlessly from one to the other. How do you solve that? We're working on a technology that is solving that for other engines, for Unity and Unreal, plus other open source engines, and trying to bring our knowledge to more gamers, to more game developers as well. So these are the main challenges. Also, hiring people is super hard currently. I just looked at the amount of applications that we get on all the job posts we have. It's super hard to filter. And I think overall it's we're not affected by the crypto winter because we were not out there. We don't have a token out. We're just building. It's a good season to build. That's what we're doing. And we are trying to educate, trying to create content that will educate. Yeah. We're trying to help and trying to provide a technology that helps.
Yeah. If everything goes well, what's the long-term vision for MetaEngine?
Long-term vision? Yeah, there are some surprises that I should not mention now related to the open source aspect of things, because we really think that going back to Sandbox point of view on the open metaverse, we completely align ourselves on this. But we really think some things have to change on how we tackle technological challenges. We need to stop collectively trying to reinvent the wheel over and over again. And this also is one of the challenges. And our long-term vision is, having thousands and thousands of mini games, mini experiences, stories being released every month, every year. So where you jump on your computer, you switch on the metaverse, or you go into one game and then you can explore another thing. You can get called by a friend. Okay, can you join me in that game? I need to kill that. Okay, but I'm playing paintball in VR with friends. Hey, can you come? Yes. And you just open the door, the virtual door, and you're there. That's long-term vision. That would be so cool. And then you kind of nod off and join friends in a virtual cinema, virtual movie theater, and watch a cool movie and come in together. Oh, that's nice. And have a beer, but stay at home and enjoy that metaverse experience. I think that's where the metaverse is trying to go, connect you with people, let you enjoy that many experiences, more experiences. I think that's where we're trying to go. And we're trying to set standards there. It needs to be interoperable. It needs to be collaborative. It needs to be communities that build games, that build experiences, because then it is relevant. You're not being served the same stuff over and over again by same corporations.
Yeah. I always like to ask this next question, not only for my audience, but for selfish reasons. Whether it's early in your career or now, what books or people have influenced you the most?
I'm not much of a reader. I read comic books and graphic novels. So I may redirect you to Mobius, the great author, but I'm not a big reader. I recommend anybody interested in financial markets to read the Hull, Hull. That's kind of our Bible. Yeah. But no, I'm not much of a reader, but I'm trying to get inspired by games. That's what inspired me my whole life. I remember very vividly experiences that I had, and not in multiplayer games, competitive games, although I still play Counter-Strike. I played that since, it was out back then. But I remember very vividly experiences like Shadow of the Colossus, that Secret of Mana, and these drove my passion that ultimately saved me from finance. Gaming, and you kind of living the dream of being in that industry and trying to help game developers make cool shit. These were my early inspirations.
That's amazing. And that's the new question I've started to implement. But if you had more time in the day, what would you want to spend more time working on?
So we are a 100% remote company. I'm in the southwest of France and I've been working remotely for past 10 plus years. My co-founder, Alex, is in Switzerland. We have people from India to anywhere in Europe up to San Diego and Los Angeles, trying to get to know people and spend more time one-on-one with people instead of in meaningless meetings that I may intervene from time to time in. That's what I would spend more time on. Yeah. Talking with people and getting to know them and getting to know what makes them tick and how I can help. Because I'm the co-CEO. I'm not building anything. Don't mistake me for an engineer. I'm here to serve my team. I'm here to serve them to achieve great things. So I just need to know what they need to succeed.
Yeah.
So that's what I would spend the most time on, and not administrative shit like paying invoices and making calls about this or that. That is not related to our business or to the success of the team. That's what I would do, and sleep more.
Yeah. I know we mentioned, you said before this call, you got 2 hours of sleep and you drink lots of coffees, but I appreciate, Antoine, your energy for being on this show and giving us the insights into gaming and where the future is going to be and all the cool things that you're building. And I love this idea of the collaboration. I think that I think that one of the foundational philosophies of decentralized technology, and it seems like you're using that philosophy and building something extremely cool on it. So, Antoine, I know we're at the end of the show here, and I always like to give our guests a chance to let us know where to find you so we can support you. We can even work and play with the technology you're using or you're building. Where can we find you? What are your LinkedIns, your Twitters, your Discord channels? Where can we find you to be a part of the mission?
You can reach out to us on metaengine.gg and find out more about the only game engine that allows you to collaborate in real time. That's not a lie. That's not a commercial lie. It's been around for 20 years. So you can trust that. So please come and join the community. Have a look at what we do. Try to read our articles. That's really there not to sell anything, just here to educate and to teach a bit more about, we're going into different new articles that are going into more how to make games technically, how to do that, what is required, what you need to learn. And we're trying to build educational stuff for the community. So then you get to have that maybe career path and instead of making TikTok videos, make games. That would be so much more rewarding for everybody. That would be great.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Antoine, for being on the show. I hope you enjoyed yourself and I hope to maybe even talk to you again on Behind Company Lines, but thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you very much, Julian. That was a pleasure and looking forward to talking to you again.
Love that.